Super fast NVMEs, because who likes load times anyway? Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Maurice of the 4-piece variety or Triple XL. And we have the Hikvision Future Lite on deck today. It's one of the entry-level PCI Express Gen 4s that is currently on special with Uncle Evetech. So of course, we had to take it out for a spin to see if it's worth the rents required to purchase. I've actually done quite a lot of Hikvision tests on this channel, and they were one of the very first people to sponsor me equipment, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for them. I've had my E3000 for a very, very long time, and it was, I think, legitimately one of their first gen NVMe products, a Gen 3 512 gig, which is currently sitting in a friend's PC, which is supposed to give it back to me, but it's fine. That's a story for another day. Anywho, this Future Lite is intended to be a good entry-level PCI Express 4. The price point is very aggressive that comes through with this on Hikvision, and that's just kind of a staple that they go with. And honestly, getting into the package, they've actually included some pretty cool little things, because in this little anti-static bag is a screwdriver and a spare screw. I know some people tend to lose these. They do come with your motherboard 99% of the time. So if you have lost it, don't worry, because they've actually supplied the correct size screwdriver and a little screw so that you can add it to your build, which is flipping awesome. Then obviously you get the SSD. And on the top of the SSD, where you see Hiksemi written over there, it's actually a little cool pad. It's a little aluminium cool pad. It's about 3 layers thick that I can see from the outer edge. It's about 1 millimeter in total thickness, the little heat pad over there. And then you would be able to put a heat sink directly on top of that with its own thermal pads and such. It would be able to go directly on the top of it. Around the back, you'll see the QR code with the serial number so that you can track the warranty. Do not remove that. You will be able to remove the top pad if you really wanted to. I don't think you'll need to, because we did all of the testing with just that, and I didn't use the heatsink, and I didn't really need to. So this is a 1TB. It's rated up to 7,100 megabytes on the read speed, no quoted top-end write speed. So we did tests empty, and then a transfer test, and then over 50%. And I found some kind of interesting data, and this is why we test over 50%. So empty, it got to 6,900, I think was the best of the tests that we see over there on Crystal Disk 6.0.2 and 8.0.5. I do both now because I found that testing both on a live stream actually gave me very different results, because they've obviously updated the algorithms and stuff that run on the program. But by testing both, we get a nice clear picture of things. And on the smaller write cycles, the smaller file types, the read definitely, or the write at least, was definitely a bit slower than I think I would like, but considering the price point, it's hardly a deal breaker. And the read speeds were pretty flippin' vinnig, as they would say, vinnige fani in the local taal of South Africa. They were quite quick. Now, when I did a transfer test, the test bench NVMe is a SN570. We're running this on a Z690 torpedo board with a 13600K and with DDR5 memory, 5200 MHz, CL38, 32 gigs thereof. So all of the supporting components more than capable to run a storage test. The top lane on the board is the one we used for the PCI Express 4 testing, and then the other two are Gen 3s. So in slot 2 is where we find our SN570, that being a 2 terabyte Gen 3 drive. Now, when I did the consistent transfer test, which will be on your screen now, you'll notice that in the beginning, it was getting the full 3 gigs per second. I have done this with multiple drives, and I haven't really had a problem with drives, except when they get over half full and the controllers are not prepared to go over 50% of the capacity. And now if I show you the Crystal Disk results at over 60, well, at 61%, that over that halfway mark, you'll notice that the write cycles slow down considerably. As soon as I take off 20% of that data and I go back to 42%, then it's suddenly working perfectly again. So this is showing that the controller on here is in line with the price point. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a deal breaker, because the read speeds are still good. You're not going to be writing to the drive all that much. I would suggest this as then like a secondary gaming drive, especially you're going to want to use, let's say, at least 60 or 70% of the drive. Once you get up to like 80%, you're basically strangling pretty much any NVMe. There's almost none that deal well at that sort of full rate. That should be your cutoff point. I'd say is about 75% regardless of the NVMe. So, but even if you wanted to use it to that point, the write cycles aren't going to be great. So to say to use this like as a media drive or something to edit off of, to store video and edit off of, especially when you're going over 50%, you're probably gonna sickle a little bit there with those write speeds. But the read speeds are still consistent. Even when it is fuller, they are still pretty damn quick. And so it's gonna make itself, I honestly like a pretty decent operating system drive, albeit I would say as a secondary drive to have games on that you then just reading from, that's probably going to be its best bet. So yeah, that's the Hikvision Semi Future Lite. Like I say, I would suggest it as a secondary drive. If you're going to use it as a primary drive, you're going to need to keep it under 50% to make sure you're getting those full speeds at all times. It ran very cool as well. I did mid-test just run my finger across the heat pad and it was very cool. Even full empty, whatever the capacity was at, it was fine on a temperature. Temperature wise, absolutely exceptional. You wouldn't need to add any extra cooling. If you've got a heatsink, that will help, but I don't think it's going to affect your scores or your performance in any way. Anywho, that is all I have for you on the Hiksemi Future Lite. If you have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.
I can't be waiting.